My sister left her children at my place and expected me to babysit while she went on vacation for 8 weeks. When I threatened to report her, she set up an attack on me at home so she could get the kids. Growing up in my family meant living in the shadow of my older sister Madison, who was always treated like a miracle by our parents, especially my mother. Madison could do no wrong no matter how cruel or selfish she acted toward me and everyone else around her. She was praised, excused and defended at every turn, while I learned very early that my role was to stay quiet and absorb whatever was thrown at me. Madison was stunning with thick curly hair and light eyes, and my mother never missed a chance to compare us. I had dark eyes, straight hair, and was constantly reminded that I was not as pretty, not as charming, and not as worthy. Once we hit our teenage years, my mom would push me to dress like Madison and beg her to teach me makeup, yet Madison would mock and humiliate me whenever I asked for help. That dynamic poisoned our relationship and turned us into bitter opposites. Madison embraced every ugly trait our mother displayed while I rejected them and tried to disappear. Being placed on a pedestal for her looks alone twisted Madison into someone who believed rules never applied to her and that she could hurt anyone without consequences. Those constant comparisons destroyed my self-esteem and shaped me into a withdrawn, anxious adult who people often described as a pushover. I struggled to stand up for myself and only recently started therapy to unlearn the damage my family caused. Forming friendships and romantic connections felt almost impossible because I was conditioned to believe I was disposable. That belief was reinforced when Madison slept with my boyfriend during our senior year of high school, even though she constantly insulted him and said he was ugly. When my parents found out, they told me to move on and let it go. Madison faced no consequences, and that was the moment I understood just how deeply unwanted I was. My father silently watched my mother tear me down for years, and that silence taught me to expect abandonment from men. Trusting anyone became a battle I fought every day. Despite all of that, there was one unexpected upside to being the unwanted sister. I had no social life and poured everything into school. I graduated high school with a perfect GPA and earned a full scholarship to my dream university. This mattered because my mother had told me before high school even started that she would pay for Madison's college since she was the firstborn, but I would need to attend community college and fund it myself. I remember sobbing and asking why she did not love me the same, and she calmly insisted she did, but Madison deserved more. The day I earned my scholarship, I was thrilled to finally have something of my own, something Madison did not. She spent her high school years partying, earning poor grades, and still faced no criticism because my parents paid her way. She attended a mediocre school solely because her grades were terrible and they could afford it. When I rushed home to share my scholarship news, I expected joy or at least pride, but my dad muttered "good job," and my mother did not even look up from her phone. She ignored me for an entire week afterward. Whenever I tried to ask why she was angry, she avoided me completely. It felt like she resented me for succeeding. That day became one of the worst of my life as I cried myself to sleep, realizing I would never be loved the way Madison was. I poured everything into my journal that night and made a decision that changed my life. Instead of begging for affection, I would turn every ounce of anger into success. I would build stability, independence, and intelligence for myself because no one else ever would.